when we went into Shark Tank last year, we talked about the three pillars we really wanted to focus on, which was just continuing the success of marketplaces and replicating that out, and then optimizing our Shopify store and retail. And we were able to launch in Officeworks this year, and just the value of being on shelf next to a Kindle. Just hiring people for the sake of having people to support us and not being clear or understanding exactly what we needed at the time has probably now got us to a situation where, I kind of need to work out actually what do we need. Your business will fall apart if you don't get the foundations right. And I get what you're saying. But also that's kind of led to our success so far.
Welcome to The Business Game, a podcast that moves the needle. Hey guys, before we jump into today's episode, we just wanted to take a really quick moment to thank one of our sponsors, Tala Offshore. For any businesses wanting to maximize their return on new hires, Tala offers seamless access to top-tier Filipino talent who are real employees hand-selected by the Tala team, slashing your staffing costs by up to 60% with onboarding in under a week. Visit talaoffshore.com to scale smarter, and thanks again to Tala for supporting The Business Game. Hi everybody, welcome to The Business Game podcast. Make sure that you've hit that subscribe button before we begin today, and like and comment as you're watching the video. If you have any questions for our guest today, leave them below and I'm sure that they'll be taking a look. My name's Jazmyn.
And I'm Dan.
And we are joined today by someone with a very incredible story, now living in Bali from Australia, Lou Rice. Welcome, Lou.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Thanks so much for joining us. Could you give our audience a quick rundown on who you are and what you do?
Sure. I am Lou, the founder of Strapsicle. We are the viral Kindle straps. We've been in business for about 3 years now. And we moved to Bali last year to help us grow and scale the business.
That's incredible. Now, some people might have already seen you from a popular network television show. Could you talk us through a little bit about what made you make the decision to participate in Shark Tank?
Yes. So we actually applied for Shark Tank the year prior, and we were about 9 months into the business and heard nothing. So when it rolled around again the next year, I think we felt we were a bit more established. I'd gone full time on the business like a couple of months prior. And so we thought, let's just give it a go. Let's just see what we can do. But we found out a week before applications were closing, and I was jumping on a plane, ironically, to Bali to be at an e-com retreat. So I was at the e-com retreat, Ben was sending me voiceover scripts and I was recording the video, and he was back there editing the video because we knew we had to really make a splash with that audition tape, essentially. But I think we just, being in this business, I'm a big believer of shooting your shot. And I think that's really what drove us to give it a go.
Yeah, of course. You've got to take the opportunities as they present themselves. Yeah.
Yes,
So
exactly right.
what was some of the biggest takeaways from that experience? I know that you had some different outcomes with the deal than you thought you would. Can you talk us through it?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, for me, it was a massive personal challenge. I had a huge fear of public speaking, as I know a lot of people will do. And I think just the challenge of that, and, we've all watched the episodes where they'll ask one question and the whole thing will unravel for the business. And I just absolutely did not want that happening to us. So we were lucky. They actually ended up postponing the filming and we had 6 weeks to prepare. And Ben actually went off to ChatGPT and asked it to give us all the questions that had ever been asked on Shark Tank.
Wow.
And then we had a dossier of about 20 pages of answers, and we practiced and practiced and practiced. And I think that actually helped us really understand our business, right down to the nitty gritty financials. We have an amazing business coach who just kind of coached us through. And then, so on the day, even though it was so nerve wracking, I felt confident that we were going to get through it. And it was actually quite a pleasant experience. They're actually quite jokey and they don't even really, they're kind of just talking to each other and talking over the top of each other. And it's very much not like the very intense formal situation you see on TV. But yeah, it was fantastic for us. The PR that came out of it still continues. We still see through our Shopify post-purchase survey how many people have found us through Shark Tank. So it's absolutely, for anyone thinking about it, I'd say absolutely give it a go just for the exposure and credibility it gives your business. Yeah, in terms of the deal, we kind of went on a go slow. We were moving to Bali. It was Black Friday. Davey's all caught up in the Audi as well. And we ended up just kind of letting it almost go on hold and just kind of hit it out because also for me, we had to place a huge production order in and around that time. And I just realized the money that we would get from them for quite a sizable chunk of equity was just going to go like that. So it helped me kind of reevaluate actually what we did need.
That's kind of a blessing in disguise then, because I know that there's always that conversation. They have the shark tax on all of their deals, so probably for the
Yes.
best.
Well, just goes to show that the experience that you gain is better than the financial incentive.
100%. I think from speaking to a lot of other businesses who've been on the show, exactly the same situation. It really forces you to understand your business. It forces you to present your business, to pitch your business, like all the skills that are so helpful for an entrepreneur.
So had you sought any sort of funding from investors before the show?
No, we hadn't. And it's something we still haven't. It is something we are talking about a lot. There was an amazing girl who was on there, Annabelle from Clutch Glue, who just was very ballsy about going out and getting other investment after the show. And she's kind of a trailblazer for us. But yeah, I don't know. It's a big decision to make, isn't it?
It is.
Now, Lou,
Yes.
about 2.5 years ago, I had a Amazon Kindle and I sold it. And I'm a bit upset about all this because one of the reasons I sold it was because I just couldn't lay in bed and read it properly. And I know that sounds awful because you fall asleep when you're reading these things and they fall and hit you in the face and wake you up and you get startled. And so tell us about your product. How did it start? What was that light bulb moment?
Yeah, well, I mean, not so much a light bulb moment, more like a nighttime fall. But I was breastfeeding our newborn son Archie. It was about 2 a.m. and you're in that 24-hour hazy sleep, feed, repeat. And I was reading the Kindle because as mums we don't like to be doom scrolling all the time on our phones, and I just nodded off for a second and whacked Archie on the head with it. And the next day, and I will be forever grateful to Ben, my partner, for his hoarding tendencies because he found an old silicone mat that we had in the kitchen for some reason, and he just made a really crude silicone strap. I actually still have it here, and he held it together with staples and gave it to me to use. And I used it for a few months, and then exactly to your point, I realized, my Kindle wasn't going anywhere. If I fell asleep, it was staying attached to my hand, and then I just didn't want to go back to a normal Kindle. So we were so lucky, I think, and this is probably for every business born out of COVID. There was nowhere to go. No one was coming to see our newborn, and we were on mat leave. So we just kind of went ahead with it.
Yeah, no, I'm blown away. This is the first time I've seen your product, and I wish I saw it
really?
3 years ago. Yeah.
And I didn't, honestly, the number of people who've come out and said they drop their Kindle on their faces when they fall asleep, I've never done it. So I had no idea, but it is a real thing.
Oh, yeah, it's not just once, it's multiple times, and I keep on doing it. And that's why I sold it.
Yeah. It's time to get it back again.
Definitely.
Yeah, I would say that, Dan is in the minority of people that hadn't seen your product because you've had over 180,000 customers, is that it?
100 million
That's
views?
Right, yeah. 100 million views on socials, yes.
Wow.
So can you talk us through maybe a little bit of your current sort of growth trajectory and what sort of brainstorming is happening around the next sort of stage of the business?
Yeah, we've just closed year 3, and I think for those, some people might know, but we had success early on with Amazon in the US. So we got on there, I think 4 or 5 months into the business. And at the time, we were making like 2 to 3 grand a month on Shopify, the early stages where you really just can't figure it out. And we went on Amazon, and in the first month we made $10,000. And I was like, this is a game changer. And so since then, we've been able to scale our business quite fast using Amazon, which has then given us the cash flow to approach other areas of the business. So optimize our Shopify store and then go into retail. So I feel like we've kind of done it the wrong way round, or not the wrong
Backwards.
way round, but
Yeah.
very different to other traditional ecom businesses. But that's been great for us. So when we went into Shark Tank, actually, I posted about this on LinkedIn this week. When we went into Shark Tank last year, we talked about the three pillars we really wanted to focus on, which was just continuing the success of marketplaces and replicating that out, and then optimizing our Shopify store, and then big retail. And we were able to launch in Officeworks this year. And just the value for us of being on shelf next to a Kindle, we're still
Yeah.
quite unique and novel. We still are a market leader in our category, and that value exchange as well for the retailer. It's there. So now we're just going aggressively after that. We're actually working with a partner in the US to get us into a number of big retailers over there, which is very exciting. And then we'll just continue on with building the marketplace piece as well.
Oh, beautiful.
Fantastic.
And can you talk us through the stages, like the prototype, the testing, the launching, and when did you quit your jobs and say, right out, this is the
Yeah,
business, let's go all in?
yeah. We because we had that year of mat leave, so it was kind of like a deadline, and we so dropped the Kindle on Archie's head when he was 3 months old, and then we went off, and Ben had his little prototype, and we were lucky to be introduced to a factory by a friend who was already using them, because I think that's one of the hard things, having to find the factory. So we I think we did like 2 rounds of sampling with the size, because we you have to get it just right to get the right tension so it doesn't fall, and we were able to get our first order sent to us by January. So it's from September to January. That was
Oh, wow,
pretty fast. Yeah,
definitely.
February. And so we kind of sat on that for 4 months while I tinkered with the website. And then it was 2 months out from going back to work. And I was like, we just got to do this. We just got to launch.
Mhm.
So we did. And I did a bit of a scrappy kind of launch where we gave away, and again, I think this is such a great strategy. And I learned this from Anita Sarker, if you know her from Hero Packaging and Sell Anything Online, but like we gave away the first 200 for free. So immediately we were able to get a whole lot of word of mouth, a whole lot of trust in the product. And then I went back to work, but I negotiated going back 3 days a week only. We're both in the advertising industry. So I knew if I went back 4 days, I'd be working 5 days and four, but 3 days, you can't. You can't put too much
Yep.
on someone. So I went back part time. So then 2 days a week and on the weekends I was working on Strapsicle. Ben was working full time as a creative director. So it really was all me. I mean, obviously he was helping on the weekends. And then about 18 months into my job, I quit. I had given myself the goal, if I could match the income I made from my job, if I could match that in profit from the business for 6 months, then I would quit. So I was able to do that, and it was a wonderful day.
Yeah, what a moment.
Yeah.
Wow.
So what is the process like in those early days where you're just getting familiar with manufacturing and placing orders and you're doing it on your own? What are you kind of talk us through, I suppose, the roller coaster of both the learning, the emotional journey, the speed at which you're working, and you had a baby involved.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a lot. It still is. Um, yeah, it's wild because you don't know what you don't know, but you just have to keep taking one step, taking the next step. And so we got getting the products right. The fact that that was quite easy and fast was a big bonus, but we were naive. We just launched with one size strap, and I don't know why now in hindsight we didn't even research the fact that there are more than one size Kindle. We're like, oh, it'll fit all of them. Absolutely does not. And so then we started getting, the complaints through, and so we had to quickly pivot. And so one of our foundational values is putting the customer first. And so we always listen to the feedback and we act on it. And so having to pivot to new sizes and then adding Amazon into the mix as well. So having to learn, I guess, forecasting, inventory forecasting, how to make sure you weren't running out of stock. I mean, obviously our product is very lightweight and it's relatively cheap to produce, but just being able to manage the timings, and I mean it's a whole thing in itself. And then when you're trying to work a job as well, on the side. So yeah, you just kind of have to chip away at it. But also I'm a big believer in cut a check to go faster. So I will always just try and hire the help to
Yeah.
help me figure it out rather than sit there for months,
Well,
stressing myself
makes
out. And
sense
yeah,
with you living in
yeah,
Bali now.
yes,
You've
exactly.
maximized on
Now
that. Yeah.
I've got so much access to amazing kind of remote talent.
It's amazing. And so you just got thrown into manufacturing and logistics. Did you have to
Yeah.
do a few crash courses or you just test,
We did.
trial
We
and error?
we did. Yeah, we did trial and error. We purchased. I think it was Ben. Just actually has a natural talent with the kind of CAD drawing side of things, or the technical drawings and understanding the products. So I was really lucky in that respect because I think there are many founders out there who don't have that they have to outsource that. So that was really good. We did a launch course through Founder, which helped give us some pointers. But no, we just figured it out along the way, and actually just working with the factory to really kind of test and iterate and figure it out. Yeah.
So, did you patent the product?
Yes, and that it would be my number one piece of advice for any founder who's about to start a business. Do not start until you have put the legal protection in place. Do not tell anyone about it. Design patent is, you pretty much get that for any business. And trademarking, obviously, I've seen the worst case scenarios. A friend of mine who didn't get the trademark and is constantly having competitors trying to take her business down and claiming that theirs is the legitimate one, and she spent a fortune on legal counsel. So absolutely make sure you've got about 10 grand set aside for that.
Mhm.
So we got design patents, and again, do like the global patenting, because optimistically you should hope that your business will be a global success. So you have like I think it's a 6 month or 12-month window to get those global patents, or you lose your right, your first right to claim them. So I'm so glad we got them in kind of the four key markets. And yeah, we've got a new product we're looking at launching next year, and we have gone and got a utility patent application for that, which
Great.
is very exciting.
Yeah, that's
Mm,
awesome.
And
So,
sorry,
sorry.
yeah.
yeah.
So, obviously, your product is reliant on the Kindle existing. I'm just wondering, do you have any sort of statistics around, who's buying Kindles, and does that demographic translate broadly across Strapsicle, or is there a sort of segment of the market that is more picking up the Strapsicle?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, we target Kindle users as our sweet spot, but we also fit, I don't know if you've heard of Kobo devices, and we're actually in the process of working on potentially some straps for a big retailer who's got their own e-reader. So we actually can fit a number of different e-readers, and there's actually like 500 million of them out there.
Oh, great.
So
Wow.
the market, yeah, the market is huge. And for us, though, the sweet spot, I mean, we say broadly 25 to 40, but if you've heard of Book Talk on
Mm,
TikTok,
yeah.
yeah. So the Book Talk girlies are one of our favorite segments. Obviously, they're out there in their millions showing off what they're reading, but also a big segment have Kindles. And so for us, it's so easy. It's just such a perfect way to target our ideal customer. And so we're very much focused in on that. And I hired a full-time content creator to, create that viral content for us a year ago now. And that has just helped. That's how we've grown to 100 million views and really helped us reach that audience. CES in Las Vegas, which is a consumer electronics show, and Amazon had a big room there, and we were chatting to one of the reps, and he said that Kindle sales in 2024 had exceeded sales from the last 10 years. So there's this massive surge in popularity of the Kindle. And I think a lot of it does come from this kind of low push towards low tech at schools and universities and people wanting to disconnect from their devices. So there's that. And so then the Kindle reader is just, I mean, it spans all ages, all demographics. So for us, it's just a case of like whoever has a Kindle, they're our ideal customer. But I was going to say the secondary segment that we didn't even know about until we launched was people with mobility challenges, like arthritis and nerve damage and all sorts of conditions that I had no idea about. And I got a message from a customer who said, I have cerebral palsy. I cannot even pick up a book. And now I'm reading again thanks to
Yeah,
your
amazing.
product. So that just helps strengthen our kind of purpose and why we're doing this.
That's
Yeah.
touching, yeah. How about the
Yeah.
name? Where did the name come from, and how did that develop, and whose idea? And I think
it's a cute one.
It's a name that people will
It's
remember.
cute.
It's great for marketing.
It's great, like, to actually see the search volume around all the different spellings of it.
Oh,
Okay.
gosh.
Yeah. So we can do a lot of targeting around that. No, it literally, I think we still had the piece of paper somewhere. It was we did a brainstorm and we just wrote down, kind of did a mind map of all the types of areas or things. And we were kind of in the space of, we're in the space of like popsicle, fun, poppy, colors, and then the strap. And then it just stuck. And I think literally obviously we had the trademark on it. I do think there's a similar product in Canada that's like a whip that's used for things. But other than that, it's pretty unique.
Yeah, not much crossover in the audiences there.
Not much crossover,
Different
no,
demographic.
definitely not.
Yeah. So you must be generating a lot of UGC for marketing. What's the process of taking that content and reusing it? Are you seeking permission from people who are uploading?
Yes, very good question. And it's actually hot on our team's agenda at the moment. We get tagged in at least, I want to say, 5 to 10 pieces of content a day, which is amazing. And we reach out to every creator. We ask, in the beginning, we were super naive about it, just didn't do that at all. And now it's very much a process of asking if they're comfortable for us to use it in marketing, comfortable for us to use it in paid ads, comfortable for us to use it with our retail partners. And we obviously, because we have our own creator who's producing 6 videos a week for us, we have a lot of our own content we use, but the UGC, and it's just wonderful to see like how people love sharing the product. I think there will come a time when we won't be the market leader, or we won't be as kind of fresh and new and novel. And the fact, Dan, that you hadn't heard of us excites me, because I'm like, we're still kind of the challenger, the little brand, and I hope one day we're the big brand. But for now, it's just really cool. Yeah.
It's really interesting because I was aware of Strapsicle since your appearance on Shark Tank, and I've seen you pop up all over TikTok. Every time I see one,
amazing,
it's identifiable. But it really does feel like you've attracted that certain community, like book talk, yes, but there's really this nice little, I don't know, the community's almost built it for you, this audience that's really identifiable, and it sort of fits into their world really seamlessly. So yeah, I think that the content that they're creating must just be invaluable for you.
Yeah, and I feel like part of it too is that from the beginning, I have naturally created a founder-led brand, and I have always tried to keep us grounded as a small Australian business who created this product out of a problem we were trying to solve. And I think I don't show up as much anymore on socials, but I do want to go back to my roots kind of thing, because I think I was always on the socials, and I know a lot of our early customers who are still with us really just bought into the mission and the excitement of kind of growing the product with me. And that's been great. And so now we have this Facebook group called the Strapsicle, and a lot of our original customers are in there, and they're just wonderful, passionate advocates.
Yeah, that's awesome. I suppose it becomes harder as you're scaling to keep jumping on socials. You've got a million other things you're juggling.
Yeah. But I actually think it's like if you look at the founder-led brands like, Rachel with TBH Skincare and Brittany with Fate, and Sarah with Control Cubes, it's like they can do it and it's working for them. So I think just trying to go back to a bit more of that because I mean everyone's saying that that's obviously that gives you the competitive advantage in a
Absolutely.
world where it's very hard to stand out and yeah, and you can be really authentic.
Yeah.
So
You've got a whole new country
back
to
we
show
go.
off as well. So,
Exactly,
yeah.
exactly. I don't do enough of that either.
Tell us a little bit about your systems. Have you developed some processes, and how has your team got involved with it as well?
Yeah, we have an incredible remote team, but I think one of the biggest thing, and it's quite funny, I was reflecting on this when I left my job last, it was February last year, and then Ben came full time around June, and we're like, oh, we've got what you kind of figure out very quickly is you've been kind of just plastering over the cracks, and we always talked about we have a house of draw and how do we get to a house of sticks and then how do we get to a house of bricks. And so it's taken a very long time.
Yeah,
And I think we have an amazing remote team. We very much built a lean team of freelancers. So it's still just Ben and I as full-time employees.
sure.
We've been able to take the business to, 4 million in revenue in year three. And
Wow.
I think now, though, it's about building an actual culture and people who are invested in it as much as us. So obviously we've got some lovely VAs, and I'm bringing them kind of trying to kind of formulate what their specific role should be. It's been very much everyone just jump in and do everything. We've just hired a marketing manager, which is very exciting, and we brought on an ops manager a few months ago. So trying to level up, but at the same time, processes are still pretty rubbish. We spend too much time in Slack. We do have our SOPs and we are getting there slowly, but I think you're just as a founder, your constant dilemma is I can spend the whole day on doing things that ultimately will benefit the business long term, like systems and processes,
Sure.
or I can go out and light five more fires to create more opportunities. And my business coach, Suzanne, is like, you've got to stop doing that because your business will fall apart if you don't get the foundations right. And I get what you're saying. But also, that's kind of led to our success so far as just seeing all the new opportunities. So, in short, we're still a work in progress with our processes. I think, too, for us, like we're living in Bali, it's acknowledged that we'll be running a remote team for at least another year.
Mhm.
And it's even more important then, I think, to get that team culture going.
Hey guys, just a quick break to thank our affiliate partner, HubSpot. We are thrilled to announce our partnership with HubSpot, the ultimate all-in-one CRM platform. HubSpot helps you streamline marketing, sales, and customer service with powerful tools to grow your business faster. From lead generation to automation, it's got you covered. By using the link in our description, you not only get to start your HubSpot journey for free, but you'll also be supporting our work here on the show. Now back to today's episode.
Worries. And how about distribution? So you got the team. Where are the products? Where do you distribute from? Was it
Yeah.
multiple
So
locations?
I mean, I keep getting told our business is complicated for the size it is. And I was like, well, I don't get it. Like we manufacture in China and then we have three warehouses, 3PLs so our Shopify sales get shipped from. So we have one in Australia, one in the US, and then one we use a bonded warehouse in China actually, and that does rest of world for us. And for me, it was just a case of how can I get my customers their products faster? And I was so glad we set the 3PL in the US up in
Yeah.
November last year because then obviously with the tariff situations, that's really worked in our favor. But it was just like there's no point in just continually shipping from Australia if it's going to take a week and it's going to cost 15 more than the product almost. So we've got those three warehouses, but then we've got obviously Amazon US, Australia, Singapore, and we've just opened in the last 2 months the UK and the EU, 9 different Amazon stores in the EU. So
Great.
now we've got 6 warehouse locations we have to
Yeah, yeah.
factor in. And yeah, that becomes about that's why having an ops manager full time was definitely a necessary hire. And we're doing pretty good. I think actually the biggest problem we have right now is we are overstocked in some locations. So now we're doing a massive consolidation exercise of moving stock around the world rather than just producing more because, yeah, we're running out of cash.
And I guess that leads us to the big question. You've bootstrapped this whole thing,
Mm,
and you did mention before that you're considering taking on investment. What does that process look like for you? Are you educating? Like, I know there's a lot of complexity behind um,
yeah,
getting VCs involved. What's your process
yeah.
at the moment?
Honestly, I think in the last few weeks we've taken out some loans just to help us get through. I think every business probably goes through it at this time of year, going into Q4 production. The fact that we could literally be a multi-million dollar business on paper and then run out of cash is just wild to me
Yeah.
constantly. And I think a lot of businesses don't talk about it enough. I think the finance side of things for us to get investment, I think we have to work. We're just working on at the moment, kind of consolidating our expenses because we've grown so fast. We're pretty bloated with our expenses. And now it's a case of kind of reining all that in and getting things a bit tighter. Probably we wouldn't start seeking investment until after Black Friday,
Mm.
after Q4. So really it looks like next year. And then I've just heard it's like a full-time process. So I think leaning on people who've done it before successfully, like Annabelle, will be definitely critical. But I'm not scared of it anymore. I think when you first start a business, you're like, oh, well, no, I can do it myself. But now you actually see the writing on the wall of if you want to go a lot faster, bringing people on who've been there, done that, and can actually fund your journey, like it's kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah, absolutely.
No worries. That's interesting you say that because I think 80% of businesses really struggle with cash flow. And I'm an accountant, so I
Yeah.
see it every single day. Um,
Yeah.
any business owner that says they haven't had an issue with cash flow are either liars or they're in the 20%. Yeah.
Yeah.
So going back a little bit about the family and prioritizing,
Mm.
juggling husband, family, children, Bali. How's that look for you?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Like I listened to a podcast recently with Josh Sparks. He's like ex-CEO of SAS and Biden, I think Urban Outfitters, but he talked about this philosophy which I really locked into, and it was like if you are living your higher purpose through creativity, and basically if you feel like what you're doing in your business is your kind of creative outlet, then you just it's not work. And everyone says that, right? If you love what you're doing, it's not work. But it's true. Like, if I could work 24 hours on the business, I would. I do love it. And I just always feel as though there's never enough time in the day. But equally, yes, I have a small 4-year-old who also joyfully is like waking up at like 5 a.m. at the moment. So we're just having a good old juggle for the 2 hours before it even gets light. But I think Bali has afforded us the opportunity to focus solely on Archie and the business. And that's the amazing thing about being here. And I'm so glad we did make that choice because we've been able to obviously cut our expenses. The income we are paying ourselves is much lower than it would be if we were still living back in Bondi. And we have, a full-time housekeeper, a nanny who does the daycare drop off. So we can start our day because, we're dealing with the US a lot. We need to start our day at like 7, 8 a.m. So, so moving here, even though it was a big challenge, has been the biggest reward in that regard. And then I think you kind of just flex and flow through the day. Like I say, I'll sometimes get up at 4, do an hour of work. Archie's up, we'll play for a bit. He might get a bit of TV. I'll go back to work, and then his nanny turns up, and then it's off on the day. But yeah, I think you just for me it just all integrates together.
Yeah.
Oh, and there's Ben as well.
Yeah.
But he's on the business too, so he kind of gets it. I mean, the obvious thing I'll say about living in Bali is the really cheap self care. So your $10 hour massages. So we always try and get those in on a Saturday. Our nanny Nia is here on a Saturday, so we can kind of go and recalibrate and get some spa treatments and Yeah.
I'm
What?
jealous.
Yeah,
Yeah.
likewise.
Yeah.
What would
Sold.
you say to other founders who might have had that passing thought of shifting over to Bali to make their dreams sort of work? Is it accessible for everybody?
Yeah, I think it does come. The sweet spot for us is that Archie's 4, so he's not of an age where school, I was about to say school is that important, but you know what I mean. Like we probably could be here another couple of years, put him in primary school here, and that would be fine. I think it's probably harder when you've got older kids. I absolutely think there's a whole lot of upside. I mean, for us, we were renting in Bondi, so it was easy for us to kind of let go of our house and we gave away most of it because, 4 years of furniture that had been trashed by a toddler, just what's the point? So we're going to pay more in storage than probably what we would make from it. So,
Definitely.
yeah. And so it's definitely a challenge to do it, but there's a whole lot of upside. And then, there's a visa system. We have a 1-year remote worker visa. Our company is still Australian. We have a director in Australia. We've got a lot of stuff still in Australia. So I think the only downside is just being further away from family and friends, but it's also Australia's only 5.5 hours away. So I'm actually going to go back for a business trip at the end of August. So yeah, you just make it work. There's a lot of upside.
Yeah, you're making me think.
Yeah.
My brain's ticking over.
Yeah. Now, have you made some mistakes along the way?
You know what? Oh God, touch
Oh,
wood. We haven't
look,
made
look,
any
whether it's
huge ones.
business or family,
Yeah,
or obviously it's not moving to Bali, but yeah.
no. I think well, one of the biggest mistakes we did make early on was rushing out a product that just wasn't perfect. And it was a different size of straps. And we got absolutely slammed on Amazon for that. And I think that taught us early on, it taught me early on the need for perfection in product development. And Ben is by nature a perfectionist as a creative and as the designer. So I just have to learn to sometimes slow down and let the process play out properly. Um, so that was a big lesson for us. But no, I think maybe the kind of rushing into just hiring people for the sake of having people to support us and not being clear or understanding exactly what we needed at the time has probably now got us to a situation where, yeah, I've kind of need to work out actually what do we need and almost not start again because I want to keep our lovely team, but actually get a lot clearer about what we need and be specific about it. And then I think mistakes along the way, one of the biggest things is just finding the right agency partners. We've had a few issues along the way with that, and I think what that comes down to is you need to educate yourself
So,
definitely
sorry,
and
with the
know.
agency partners, are you talking about offshoring, or are you talking about 3PL, or
No, just performance marketing. So, paid ads.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, paid ads, Amazon agencies. Yeah, it's just having actually being ex-agency, maybe we just know a bit more about
Yeah.
yeah,
bullshit levels, but
yeah,
yeah, it's just finding, but we've now touch wood, we've found some really good solid partners. So that's been great. And then I just think that one of the hardest things is just when you're a startup and you don't have the money, trying to figure out how to get your business out there, being really scrappy about it, knowing where to go, where to find your customers. You have to work so hard at that. And I think a lot of businesses I see them, they just kind of sit behind the screen and kind of expect people to just land on their social media and that's job done. And it just doesn't work like that anymore. So yeah.
And I guess, Lou, you have this unique, I mean, you've done so well considering, but you have this sort of unique challenge where you are at this stage a one product brand, right? And it's, I
Yes.
imagine, harder to keep people engaged. How do you find that you've kind of had to navigate your marketing efforts given that circumstance?
Yeah, I mean, it always surprises people. I say our returning customer rate is around 12%, which is not huge, but it's not, it's not non-existent. We have a really passionate core of customers who treat these as fashion accessories, so they own every single color. We brought out our clutch to match that they're not matching, but close enough. We've got our matching clutches, and then we've got a kind of range of accessories we'll be rolling out that all just serve to enhance the Kindle reading experience. And then we're looking at new verticals as well. But in terms of actually marketing, one of the most powerful forms of marketing has been for us organic viral content. And that's obviously we invested in our content creator. And for a lot of people, when I say, she's $6,000 a month after conversion because she's US based. But the value of that, like the one-off payment to then get, sometimes when we first started, we had content going viral almost every third video
Yeah.
and talking like millions of views, and that can just roll on for months, and you don't have to pay to acquire those customers. So that is definitely, I think, for any new business starting out, I would just be focusing on your content marketing. And then when you get that sweet spot of virality, then you start amplifying it with your paid ads. But yeah, we've been lucky we haven't had to rely massively on paid ads up until this point. We now do spend a bit on those. But yeah, that's
You've
definitely
just caught
a
up with
way
everyone
forward.
else. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But I think just, yeah, not having to rely on the pay to play is really important.
I was going to push a little bit more into platforms like Amazon, eBay, Shopify.
Yeah,
I guess Amazon is where it all started. Have you seen
yes.
a change in the market at all?
No, no. I love Amazon, touch wood, and I know so many people out there are so kind of scared of it. And I'm probably a bit bullish about it, and it might come back to bite me because I have heard horror stories of people getting just removed from the platform overnight.
That's what I was thinking.
Touch wood.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, nothing like that for us. And then I think because Amazon rewards you when you send people to the platform, and that's always been our a powerful strategy for us. Like in our marketing, we will give customers the option of where to shop. We want to make the customer shopping journey as easy as possible for them. And in the US, I mean, 60%, over 60% of shopping journeys start on Amazon. So
yeah,
it's just a
wow.
kind of like, why wouldn't you want to be there? And yeah, so we've just gone from strength to strength in the US. We've seen, at the moment there's actually a copycat out there on Amazon, but we're not worried. Like we haven't seen sales dip. If anything, we're just growing year on year quite substantially. And then being able to translate that to the UK and the EU this year, the agency who we work with to set that up, like they gave us this inventory forecast and we sent the stock in, and we literally sold out of it in a month, and we were out of stock for 2 months because they just didn't they couldn't predict the demand. They said it was like just turning on a tap. So
Wow.
there's definitely, I think, if you can master Amazon, the opportunity to then replicate that from country to country to country is so powerful.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
so I'm very bullish on it, and I will constantly advocate for other brands to be on it.
How about social media marketplaces?
Yeah, TikTok Shop, we got
Mm.
onto that end of last year in the US. Don't ask me how. And that's a bit slower, but definitely showing potential. And then what else is there?
I think in Australia,
What
yeah,
else is
it's not even sort of started yet.
No,
No.
but I know Facebook started pushing into a little bit, but I've never
Yeah.
bought through a social media platform, so I got no idea.
Yeah, Instagram has the
No.
shop feature that you can
My gosh, I
connect
need to.
products
So
to.
yeah, we haven't actually done that yet. No, I've been so
I,
focused on
I'm just asking because I
Amazon.
don't know if it's going to work out. I don't know if there is a.
I think TikTok Shop is quite successful over in the US.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of,
Yeah, oh, it definitely is. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all about it's still like very early adopter stage, which is great. I think for us actually, if you're talking about social commerce, we are really interested in China.
Mm.
And that is definitely we have a very big customer base from China, and they'll order huge amounts. And at first I thought, gosh, everyone's like, oh, they're going to copy you. But no, it's just customers and they order for their communities. And so that's been great for us. We joined up to Red Note when there was that whole palaver about TikTok shutting down. And we found like 400,000 searches a month on Strapsicle. So
Wow.
we yeah, we definitely want to push into that because of the live shopping opportunities in China. When I went to Vegas, the one talk I listened to, that was a slide, and I just show everyone, it's like the US will hit in 2025, they'll maybe get to 32 billion made in online in social shopping. But in China, it's going to hit 915 billion.
Wow.
And you're
Okay.
like, why wouldn't I want
Okay.
to be part of that? Like, think
Wow.
bigger, right? Yeah. And I think that's another thing too. Like, through the success of Amazon early on, we've just kind of conditioned ourselves to think global. And I think there's a lot of businesses maybe sell themselves a bit short by not kind of exploring. It's so easy to set yourself up now overseas.
So you haven't bothered with other sales channels like business to business, wholesaling?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. No, wholesales, that's kind of like the third leg of the stool. So we launched in Officeworks earlier this year. And up until that point, we'd just done, we just had a few kind of boutique retailers. And so that's been great, like as a partnership and just a first dip in the water of, as I said, like our straps sitting alongside Kindles on shelf. Huge learning curve. Like, I'm pretty sure the distribution partners think I'm an idiot, but like, just asking questions all the time because you have to. But that's been amazing, and that's gone from strength to strength. They've added new lines, new SKUs. So that's a great partnership, and now we just want to replicate that. About to launch on Best Buy Marketplace in the US.
Yep.
We're talking to Barnes and Noble and a few others like Big W. So yeah,
How
that's
exciting.
definitely the goal. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
awesome.
That's amazing. That's going to be awesome.
So I know we have
Yes.
touched on a lot about your online marketing, but I was just also curious, have you worked with social media influencers before where you've paid people to pick up the product?
Do you know we've only paid one person in the last 3 years, and that was our last campaign. We paid someone $500, but we've never paid. When we started out, I early on I learned the strategy, which now you're like so basic, but I was like, I'll just reach out to some girls on TikTok who love showing off their Kindle, and I'll offer them the product as a sample, and then I'll make them affiliates. And we were so novel and they had never been reached out to before. And so I just got all this great content and this word of mouth marketing. And then I read this quote, I think it's at Paul Graham, like do the things that don't scale. And that just stuck with me. So I just, for the first 6 months, I was messaging hundreds of these accounts and just sending out samples. And that is still our strategy today. And most people are just happy to we never ask for content in return. We just say, if you love it, leave a review. So, but I would like to push into more of an established influencer relationship. Definitely. Yeah.
How about celebrities?
Oh, I've got so many screenshots on my phone of celebrities who read Kindles. I need to,
Come on, we
I
need
need to
names.
make a full strategy around that.
Drop some
Names,
names.
gosh. Well, Hilary Duff. Hilary
Huh?
Duff. She's
Wow.
got a book. She's got a book club,
Yeah.
so she's a Kindle reader. I don't know if you know Lauren Bostick. She's one of my favorites, Manifestation Babe. And then there's some local ones, Georgie Stevenson,
Yep.
a few others. But no, I need to find some. I need to find some really big celebrities.
So
Yeah,
cool.
absolutely. I mean, the
Yeah,
Kardashians have had about 30 kids between them now, so I'm sure there's some
surely
Kindles
one of them's
floating
got.
around. Yeah.
Surely one of them's reading something on a Kindle.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we do a segment on the show called Rapid Fire where we're just going to throw some questions
Oh,
at you quickly and you kind of got to answer off the top of your head.
we'll try. Yes.
Yeah. All right. So you ready to dive in?
Sure. Yes. Go
Perfect.
for it.
What is your favorite part of being a founder?
The constant wins.
Yeah.
It's like an adrenaline fueled day every day.
Absolutely. One thing you miss about your pre-entrepreneur life?
Oh my God, just the simplicity of it, to be honest. Yeah. That it had a start and an end time and
Hmm.
a weekend.
What is one product you can't live without besides Strapsicle?
Oh my God, my water bottle. Just constantly sucking on this thing every day on all my calls. My
Emotional
Stanley,
support
my
water
Stanley
bottle.
cup. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. And we're trying to get a collab with them as well because we've got lilac straps too.
that would be
Oh, cool.
amazing. And
Yeah,
final
exactly.
question, one business, book, or podcast that you can't live without?
I love at the moment listening to Robin Sharma Daily Mastery podcast. It's like 3-minute episodes, but they're just wisdom for kind of leveling up. I just always start my day really well.
Beautiful.
Rightio. What's next? What's coming up? Any new initiatives? Any new partnerships? Any new products? New colors?
Yes. So, people have been asking us since we began, when are you going to do something for the iPad mini? So all I can say is watch this space. We've got some amazing partnership opportunities with big retailers bubbling away, looking into some licensing opportunities, and basically just world domination. Like, my goal is to be the household accessory for Kindles and e-readers worldwide, because we want to help people read comfortably. So I'm definitely committed to building this to be $100 million brand. Did I say that in public? Yes.
Yeah.
And I think you
I
should.
did.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Well,
Why not?
of course. I think, your success so far has just been remarkable, and there's no reason why it can't
Thank
continue to
you.
scale.
Yeah, definitely.
It's been awesome having you on, Lou. We always like to ask our guests at the end of the episode what your single main piece of advice or wisdom for other founders would be that moves the needle on your business.
Yes, obviously we've talked about the legal piece, but honestly, I would just say you just keep going, because at the beginning, probably the first year, you cannot see the wood for the trees, and it feels hard and it feels messy, and you just feel like you don't know anything. And all you can see is all these other successful businesses. And then I promise you the momentum will come. And then when you get that momentum, you have to grab it and ride it. Like, everything you do just has to keep pushing forward into new opportunities.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Lou. It's been a
You're
pleasure.
welcome.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you.
Alrighty, Lou. So that's it for today. Do you want to do a final wrap up of who you are, what you do, and where people can find you?
Yes, so I am Lou Rice on LinkedIn. You can find me under that. I post regularly on there with everything I'm learning while I'm building a business in public. And then Strapsicle, strapsicle.com. You can look up Strapsicle straps on Amazon if you want to purchase that way. And if you want to kind of follow along on our journey, you can find us on TikTok or Instagram.
Perfect. Amazing.
Thank you.
Alrighty. Good luck with
Thanks,
everything.
guys.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
To help support our continued mission to provide free, best-in-class advice from the world's most compelling business leaders, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring that bell so you never miss an episode. See you next Thursday. Thanks for tuning in to The Business Game. If you like what you heard, make sure to subscribe on YouTube and follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn to stay connected. A big thank you to our major sponsor, TraffTrack, for powering today's episode. And join us again on the next episode of The Business Game, a podcast that moves the needle.